Good morning, Kathleen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Lyric sends his love as well, clearly.
I
Um, so I first want to say you must be a lover of music because nobody could write, direct, and produce this beautiful of a love letter without having some sort of connection to music.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. That's very kind. Um, yeah, of course. The process of making the film has actually um had me thinking more about that. When did I start really digging music? What were the first things that I was listening to? Stuff that my parents were playing or my sister. Um, yeah, it goes back pretty deep. And I think there's certain markers over the course of my life where I was listening to certain things. Yeah, it's a bit of a catalog. I'm sure it could be a bigger catalog, but I can always listen to more music for sure.
So tell me how you settled on the three artists that you kind of focus on. Walk us through that.
Yeah, well, we wanted to have a diverse set of music, like a mixtape.
Yeah.
I wanted to challenge myself a little bit too, push myself to listen to some musicians that I didn't know that well. And that was I had a list of artists that I had hoped would be in the film. We put together a pitch that explains what our film is going to be about and what we're going to be doing, and then the artists say, yes, I'll be in this or I won't. On that list, though, we were looking for people that like to talk about the process of making music. Not all musicians like to do that. It's kind of mysterious and magical, and I don't want to break it down. But there are some artists that do, and they can speak really well about it in ways that the rest of us can understand because I'm not a musician. So that was also part of the criteria. So we wanted a diverse set of music, and then we wanted artists that could speak about their music and the process of making it. And then kind of on a lower level, not necessarily hierarchical, but we weren't trying to force it. We wanted to see if there was some social impact that we could talk about, some societal issues, some challenges, some larger, bigger idea thinking with the artists. And all of these people have that. I mean, they're just such deep thinkers and great writers. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
So let's walk through it. First tape or first off mixtape. Great. Like I love that that's in the title because I think everyone in my generation and before very vividly remembers making mixtapes. First from the radio, waiting to hear your song, and then from like tape to tape, and then CD to tape. I mean, it's such a nostalgic feel anyway. So let's start with the first group that you talked to, and
Uh,
how did they respond to talking to you? And then also, clearly they knew their super fan, if you will.
yeah, the Indigo Girls, I love. Um, I was probably well, I mean, I was nervous to interview them because I had such a deep appreciation for their music. They could not be any more lovely. I mean, what you see of them out in the world is exactly who they are. I was and we ended up finding a studio to film them. It was like a working studio. It was where people would go to record their own music. It wasn't anything fancy, and we I remember when we brought them there, I saw Amy Ray's shoulders kind of go down like in a relaxed way, like she was carrying her guitar, and I could feel like they were at home, like because it was a gritty floor, the carpet was all kind of gnarly, and but it had these great little studio spaces, and I think we instantly created a space for them where they felt like they were at home, and that was great because they opened up and were very candid and funny, and I just think they have so much personality in their film, and also very thoughtful about a particular piece of music that they created and how that came about. And I'm really grateful for the time that they spent with us, but they were great company through the course of that afternoon when we were filming them.
So then you move to your second one.
Vijay Iyer is a Harlem-based musician, um, incredibly talented. He is a uh, great thinker, I think, of our age. If you follow his, which I do, his Twitter feed, he's addressing and an advocate for a lot of different people of different races, and all of that thought that you can see there is in his music. So he's a phenomenal person too. He's just a very kind person. And we were so glad to have him in our film. He's incredibly talented, and you can the piece that we have in the film of him performing live blows me away every single time. We had a screening in Boulder with some jazz musicians, Boulder, Colorado, and I heard after his piece or during his piece, there were people that went whoo, like they just were. It was so funny. I was like, yes. And then the last story features Talib Kweli, who's a legendary, some have said top 5 lyricist, hip hop artist. He's incredible. Really dense, thoughtful, intelligent, just well crafted artist. So those are the 3 artists.
And how did they come to be on your list? I mean, I know you said you made a list of multiple artists that you were hoping to talk to, but how did you even create that list? I wouldn't even know where to start.
Yeah, let's see. I wrote a treatment for the film because I knew I wanted I thought 3 was a good number of stories to tell. Like I said, I wanted different genres. I started with Indigo Girls. That was a big wish. When they agreed to be in it, that was a happy day. I was running up and down the hall, screaming. The other artists, I think I was doing a lot of research. I do a lot of research to try to figure out where the good stories might be. And Talib Kweli actually wasn't the first person that I chose with Mike Ford. I found Mike Ford, the hip hop architect, who's featured in the story with Talib Kweli. I found Mike Ford first before any of the artists or anything else because his story is so compelling. So things kind of happened organically. You can try to force a process on it, but any kind of creative process, I think sometimes you gotta just let things flow. Yeah. And things don't always work out the way you really think they should. And then in the end, it turned out better than I could have imagined.
Well, how can people watch Mixtape Trilogy?
It'll be streaming on February 7th on iTunes, Amazon, Vudu, Google Play, and then there's some cable in-demand AT&T, DirecTV, and Dish.
Wow. So
I think also on Vudu. Yes.
I love it. So people are going to be able to see this love letter and familiarize themselves with some artists. I mean, honestly, and to be truthful, Indigo Girls were the only ones that I was really familiar with. Have a much deeper appreciation for the music after seeing this. And I think that that's what's so great about music lovers is that usually a music lover loves all genres, all types. They love to learn more. And I think this is such a great educational entertainment tool. You know what I mean? Like it's really educational, but in a really neat way.
That's a really great comment. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I hope it's a fun ride. That's what but you're right. There's more to it than just that, than just fun. There's a lot to you get to kind of jump into the experiences of other people through the course of this music that you may or may not be familiar with. And I think that can only be a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing why certain songs trigger emotion in some people and not in others. I mean, that's the beauty of music is that you just don't know how it's going to affect. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a mystery.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for tapping into some of that mystery. Mixtape Trilogy, Stories of the Power of Music. Kathleen, you are amazing. Thank you so much for this. And I can't wait for you to do another mixtape. Like, you need to do another one.
I would love to do another one. Thank you. That would be fun.
You're welcome. You take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you. Thank you.